All right, guys. So I want to go over the review with you, which I gave you yesterday before you guys take the test. And I'm going to have you guys turn in the review, which means if you watch this video, you should get 100. All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you. All right. So before I actually go over the review, I want to make sure that you guys have all of these formulas down. These are going to be what eventually help us out here with a lot of these problems. So these are the formulas that you're always going to be given on any sort of test. So make sure you pause the video, write these down before you get any further. Okay, these are not new to you. They should be, we should be very familiar with them. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into these problems. All right, so question number 1 says the equations below are representations of linear equations. It's just saying here are 3 linear equations, which is the line that has that passes through the point 4, 3 and has a slope of 1/4. Whoa, okay, so it's asking which of these 3 would go through the point 4, 3 and has a slope of 1/4. So here's how I would go about this. First of all, I have a point and a slope. And if I have a point and a slope, I'm always going to go to point slope form. So that's where we start out. So I'm going to label this x1, y1, and then they've given me my m. They've given me my slope. So we're going to plug into point slope form, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. All right, so this should be my equation in point slope form. Let's look at these 3 different equations that they gave me. Number 1 is in y equals mx plus b. Number 3 is in standard form since x and y are on the same side. So this middle one is supposed to be point slope form. And actually, it looks really close to what we have here, except there is one small difference. Our line has a slope of 1/4. And this one has a slope of negative 1/4. So number 2 is wrong. Number 2 is wrong. So actually, it's kind of crazy because if you look at your answer choices, we know that number 2 is wrong. So my answer choices cannot have number 2 in them. So A, since it has number 2 in it, is out. B, since it has number 2 in it, is out. And then D is also wrong because it has number 2 in it. So that leaves me with only answer choice C. So answer choice C says that number 1 is correct and number 3 is correct. And honestly, that's as far as we would need to go for a problem like this. Now, I don't like doing that. I don't like just saying, hey, here's the cheat. So let's actually go through. What if I convert this point slope form into slope intercept form? Does that actually make number 1 viable? So we would distribute 1/4 times x is 1/4x. 1/4 times negative 4 is negative 1. And now look how close we are to getting y all by itself. We just need to add 3 to the left side. If I add 3 to the left, I need to add 3 to the right. Y equals 1/4 x plus 2. And is that what the equation says? Yep. So number 1 is correct. And now looking at equation number 3, so I'm getting down here, sorry, it's okay. So equation number 3 is in standard form. So it's in standard form. Let's get it into y equals mx plus b form and see if it matches our y equals mx plus b form, okay? So we're going to subtract x from the left side. If I subtract x from the left, we need to subtract x from the right. And that gives us negative 4y equals negative x minus 8. Now, what is the negative 4 doing to the y? It's multiplying, and if I want to undo multiplication, we divide. So we're going to divide by negative 4 on the left. If I do any sort of math on the left, we need to do it on the right. So we get y equals negative x divided by negative 4. That's positive 1/4x. Negative 8 divided by negative 4 is positive 2. And if you notice, that's what we had earlier. So this standard form equation is actually the same as our slope intercept form equation, which was correct. It actually worked. So number 1 and number 3 are correct. All right, number 2. It wants me to find the equation of this line. And I always have people that say, Coach Easton, I'm really bad when it comes to graphs. Here's how we're going to start. Look at your answer choices. All 4 of them are in y equals mx plus b. They're all in the form of y equals mx plus b, which means if I can just find the slope of this line, and if I can just find the y-intercept of this line, we're in good shape. So actually, I'm going to ask you guys to start with the y-intercept. Where does this line, so here's my x-axis, and here's my y-axis. Where does this line cross the y-axis? Crosses right here at -1. So my y-intercept needs to be -1. So looking at my answer choices, I can already get rid of C and I can get rid of D since they have the wrong y-intercept. Now we just need to be able to determine the slope. And let's see, we need to find 2 points. So let me find another point on here. There looks like a point on there. And remember, you can do slope by finding the rise over run. So to go from this point to this point, we would need to rise 1, 2, 3, and we would need to run 1, 2. So my rise was 3 and my run is 2. So my slope should be 3 over 2. So the equation I'm looking for is y equals 3 over 2 x minus 1, which is answer choice A. Now, I got to be honest, we actually did a little bit more work there than we needed. If you notice, look at answer choice B. What do you notice about its slope? It has a negative slope. A negative slope means the line would start high and go low. And that's not what our line is doing. Our line is starting low and going high. So it had to be a positive slope. So just by identifying that it was a positive slope and what the y-intercept was, we were able to get to our answer. All right. Now, question number 3, I'm not the biggest fan of these questions where it's asking us to find causation. All that means is we're trying to find which of these variables cause each other. X causes Y. So this is a typo, so I want to change this real quick. Does a larger shoe size mean you have a better paying job? Does your shoe size cause you to have a higher paying job? That doesn't make any sense. If there is more rain, that causes people not to go to work. No, that's not true. Children who wear sandals cause themselves to get the flu. That's so goofy. That's not right. Does the temperature bill cause the cost of your electric bill? I would say yes. If it's hot outside, you got to use the AC. If it's cold outside, you got to use the heater, essentially. So that causes my electric bill to change. So the best answer there is D. All right. Question number 4. We want to come up with a line that is parallel, goes through the point -4, 5, and is parallel to this line right here. Dang, okay. So what do we know about parallel lines? Parallel lines have the same slope. The same slope. So actually, that means I need to find the slope of this line so that I can use that slope for my line. So I know it's hard to see, but it's found 2 points for us already. What is the slope of this line? Remember, slope is rise over run. And so I need to go up 1, up 2, up 3. So we need to rise 3, and then we need to run 2. So the slope of this line right here is 3 over 2. And if we want our line to be parallel, we also will use 3 over 2. All right, so now what information do we have? We have a slope and we have a point. So that means we can use point slope form. So typically we would go plug into our point slope form using our x1, y1, and then using our slope that we found. But I actually want to pause here and say, yeah. Let's just go into point slope form. So point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And you're probably saying, Coach Issa, why did you put a plus sign? Because it should have been x minus -4, but minus a negative becomes a positive sign. All right, so here's my answer in point slope form, but none of the answer choices are in point slope form, so I need to convert them. So we're going to distribute. 3 over 2 times x is 3 over 2x. 3 over 2 times 4, if you're not sure, use your calculator. 3 over 2 times 4 is 6. And now look how close we are to getting y by itself. We need to undo subtraction. The way we undo subtraction is by addition. But if I add to the left side, I need to add to the right side. So y equals 3 over 2x plus 11. And we're in good shape. All right, next problem, we're moving along. Next problem, it wants me to find the line of best fit. Now, guys, for you, I always provide the the Desmos link. So I'm going to have you guys, I'm going to show you guys the Desmos link and how to use it. So let me share my screen for a second. So you guys are going to click on the Desmos. You guys are going to click on the Desmos. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to share this. Okay. No, I want this. Okay, so here's the Desmos. We're going to put this, this table into our Desmos. So I have the point 4, 6. I have the point 8, 12. I have the point 12, 18. And then I have the point 16 and 24. Now, if you guys scroll down here, it has found our M and our B. I'm going to write that onto my paper. Our M is 1.5. Our slope is 1.5. And our B is 0. Our y-intercept is 0. So now let's go back to our review. So if you have a slope and you have the y-intercept, we go to slope-intercept, which is y equals mx plus b. I'm just going to plug in 1.5 for m, y equals 1.5x, and I need to plug in 0 for b. Now, do I need to put plus 0? Does adding 0 do anything to my formula? No. So this is technically my equation right here, which means C is the answer. Look how quick that was. So if you're given a table and they ask you to find the line of best fit, you can just plug into your Desmos and it'll tell you your slope. It'll tell you your y-intercept. You just plug in a slope-intercept form and you're done. All right, flip it over. All right, so we are trying to find a line that is perpendicular to this line right here. Okay, so remember, remember perpendicular lines, they have opposite and flip slopes. So we need to figure out the slope of this line. That way we can find the slope of our perpendicular line, okay? So let's find 2 points here. That looks like a point right there. And then that looks like a point right there. Maybe you guys pick different ones, but I just picked the ones I thought looked really close to the lines. So remember, slope is rise over run. So up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I need to rise 6. We're going to run 1, 2, 3, 4. So 6 over 4 is my slope, but remember that can simplify. 6 over 4 simplifies to 3 over 2. So the slope of this line is 3 over 2, but we want to make the perpendicular line. So I need to take the opposite and the flip of this slope. So opposite means since this is positive, our slope needs to be negative. And then we need to take 3 over 2 and flip it to 2 over 3. So the slope of the line that's perpendicular is going to be negative 2 over 3. Now look at each of these equations. All of them are in y equals mx plus b form. So let's look at all of their slope and find which one has the slope that we want. So which one has the correct slope? 2 over 3? No, we want negative 2 over 3. Negative 3 over 2? Nope. And 3 over 2? Nope. So the correct answer is C, because we know that the slope of the perpendicular line needs to be negative 2 over 3, and this slope is negative 2 over 3. All right. Now, I feel like this is a problem that we could try to do like the real, full, like true mathematical way, but I'm going to show you guys a quick cheat on question number 7. Let's draw a line here, or sorry, let's draw a coordinate plane. And it says that we have a y-intercept of 300. A y-intercept means we cross our x-axis at a height of 300. So that's all the way up there at 300. And then we have an x-intercept at 25. So maybe that's where 25 is right there. So we have a line that goes through a height of 300, and then it has an x-intercept of 25. And it wants me to figure out what the slope, or sorry, it just wants me to figure out the equation of that line. All right, look at all of these answer choices. They are all in y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, and b is the y-intercept. Now, wait a second. B is the y-intercept. They already told me what the y-intercept is. The y-intercept is 300. So B needs to be 300. So plus 300 needs to be our B. And if you notice, look at your answer choices. Already, only A and D have y-intercepts of 300. So now look at the difference between answer choice A and answer choice D. Answer choice A has negative 12 as the slope. Answer choice D has 25 as the slope. Look at our line here. Is that a positive or a negative slope? Well, it starts high and it goes low, so this is a negative slope. So I can actually get rid of D. I know the answer has to be A without doing any sort of formulas. Just by graphing the y-intercept, just by graphing the x-intercept, I can tell what my y-intercept is, and I can tell if the slope is positive or negative. So we can get to our answer just like that. All right. Question 8. What is the equation of the line that has a slope of 1/2 and a point of 10, 4? Well, guys, if you are given a point and a slope, we always start with point slope form. All right, so y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. All right, so y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So this is my answer in point slope form. Ooh, these answers are not in point slope form. They're in standard form. So we're actually gonna have to do a little bit of work, but that's okay. Let's convert this into y equals mx plus b. So 1/2 times x is 1/2 x. 1/2 times negative 10 is negative 5. And then if I want to get this into y equals mx plus b, I need to undo this subtraction. So we're going to add 4 to the left. If I add 4 to the left, then we also need to add 4 to the right. Oops, sorry. So our equation needs to be y equals 1/2 x minus 1. But notice all of these answer choices are in standard form. So what we need to do is we need to convert them so that they're no longer in standard form. They're in y equals mx plus b format. All right, so just as a quick reminder, if we want to do that, I'm actually going to go to C here just to show you guys. This is standard form. And if I don't want it in standard form anymore, we're going to subtract x. So we get 2y equals negative x plus 2. Then to get y by itself, we would divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. And we get y equals negative 1/2x plus 1. But this equation does not match our equation, so C is out. So if you guys take A, B, and D and convert them from standard form into slope-intercept form, we need to find the one that perfectly matches our equation. And if you do that, B is going to be the answer. All right, let me show you. So x minus 2y equals 2. That's in standard form, but we don't want it in standard form. So we're going to subtract x. If I subtract x from the left, I need to subtract x from the right. Negative 2y equals negative x plus 2. Divide by negative 2 on the left. Divide by negative 2 on the right. So we get y equals negative 1 divided by negative 2 is 1/2 x. And then 2 divided by negative 2 is negative 1. So this answer, B, converts to the y equals mx plus b that we wanted. So that's a pretty tough question because you start off with point slope, then you convert point slope all the way to slope intercept, and then you have to take these standard form equations and convert them to make sure that they match our slope intercept form. So that's a tough one, required a little bit of work. All right. Question number 9 is giving me a table. And whenever you're given a table, that's a good sign that we're going to use that Desmos. But notice, it's not having me find the equation. It's having me find the correlation coefficient. So we're going to start out exactly the same way, where we're going to plug in each of these points into our Desmos. So let me share the Desmos again. And let me get rid of these. And what we're going to do is we're going to start putting in these points. So GPA of 2 had motivation of 50, 2, 48, 2, 100, 2, 12, 2.3. So I'm just taking my table and I'm plugging in to my Desmos. 2.6, had a 30. All right, sorry, y'all are just watching me type away. Hopefully you guys are trying this as well. Another 2.6, 78. 3 is 87. 3.1 is 84. 3.2 is 75. 3.6 is 83. 3.8 is 90. 3.8 is 90 again. That's funny. And then the last one, sorry, 4 is 98. Okay, so they're looking this time, instead of for the line of best fit, they're looking for the correlation coefficient. So if you guys scroll down, the correlation coefficient is what we call R. So R is equal to 0.64. So I'm gonna stop the share with you, and I just want you guys to recognize that we're trying to find R here. And let me pause the recording for 1 second. All right, so I'm gonna share the screen with you. We have just found R. R is 0.64. So first of all, this number is positive. So I want you guys to find all the answer choices that say it's a positive correlation. Since this is a positive number, this is a positive correlation. Now, is this strong or weak? That's the difference between answer choice A and C. If it was really close to 1, the closer you are to 1, the stronger you are. But we're not really close to 1. We're like, meh, we're not really close to 1 at this point. So that means this is a weak correlation. Okay, you always want to be like, you want to be like 0.9 and above to be a strong relationship. Okay. All right. Question number 10 is another causation question. This is not my favorite question, but the answer is D. I'm honestly just going to give you that answer because you're not going to see that one on there. I don't like that question at all. But temperature and ice cream sales are the closest out of all of those to being a cause and effect relationship. Okay. All right, question number 11. Which of the following lines is perpendicular to this line and goes through this point? Well, whenever you give a point, I'm gonna go ahead and label that X1, Y1. Remember, perpendicular means we want our slopes to be opposite and flipped. So what is the slope of this line? Well, the slope of this line is 3. I'm gonna make that into a fraction just by dividing by 1. If the slope of this line is 3 over 1, what does the slope of our perpendicular line need to be? Well, it needs to be the opposite sign. So since this is positive, ours needs to be negative, and then we flip it. So slope equals negative 1 over 3. So honestly, at this point, we should go to point slope form. We should go to point slope form since we have a point and a slope. But actually, look at your answer choices. Only one of them has a slope that we would want. Only one of them has a slope of negative 1 over 3. Hey, I didn't even need to use point slope form. I can just look at my answer choices and figure out which one has the matching slope. All right, easy enough. Question number 12. Question number 12 at this point says, we want to figure out what a student would get if they study for 2.5 hours. So down here on the x-axis is our study time. Where's 2.5 at? 2.5 would be about right here. And where would our dot be? If we did draw a line of best fit, where would 2.5's dot be? I would predict that it would be about right there. That way it fits in with the data the best. So if we study for 2.5 hours, what would our grade be? Well, in between a 70 and 80 is 75. So that one's just using our data and making a prediction. All right, question number 13. Which of the following equations does not represent a line parallel to the line graph below? So we want to figure out which of these equations is parallel to this line right here. So what we need to start out by doing is we need to figure out what the slope is of this line. And we need to be careful because we are so used to doing rise over run. But guys, notice the scaling is not counting by ones. So even though this looks like I'm going up 2, how much are we actually going up by? Since it's counting by 2s, we go up 2, up 4. So we rise 4, and we're not running 1, we're running over 2. So our slope is 4 over 2, which means we have a slope of 2. Okay, so our slope needs to be 2. Look at answer choice A. Answer choice A is in y equals mx plus b, which means it has a slope of 2. So guess what? This line has a slope of 2. This line has a slope of 2, which means they are parallel. But we're trying to find the one that is not parallel. So A is parallel, so that means it's not an answer choice. Ooh, B and C are both in standard form. So what we would have to do is we would have to convert them to y equals mx plus b in order to figure out the slopes. Let's save that. If we need to, we can do it, but let's actually look at our last equation. So this last one is, what form is that in? That's in point slope form. And if you notice point slope form, m is the number in front of the parentheses. So this one has a slope of -2. Wait a second. If this line has a slope of -2, that is not the same as this line. So those are not the same slope, which means they are not parallel. So actually D is the one that is not parallel. We didn't even need to move around B and C from standard form. All right, question number 14. Which of the following is a slope of 0 and passes through the point 3,4? Guys, this is key. A slope of 0 is a horizontal line. So a horizontal line, and where is, remember, horizontal lines are y equals lines. Horizontal, y equals. Vertical, an undefined slope is x. Horizontal is y. So already, just by knowing that it's a 0 slope, knowing that it's a horizontal line, that means it's y equals. And now look how easy this is. That point right there, which of those values is y? 4 is y. So y has to be equal to 4. All right, last but not least, on question number 15, they give me a table again, and they want me to find the correlation coefficient. So I'm going to just let you guys work that one. Go through the Desmos. Actually, we'll do it. We have time. Let me share my other screen. Sorry, it keeps bringing this up. Oh, man. If we go through, sorry, I have the answer key right here. If we go through, we find that we have a correlation of 0.97. So I'm going to save you all that time of putting it into the Desmos. So here is our correlation coefficient. That is a positive number. So I can get rid of all the ones that say negative. Let me share the review again. So since our correlation is 0.97, that's a positive number. Get rid of the ones that say negative. And now 0.7 is really close to 1, so that is a strong relationship. So A is our answer. All right, so again, you guys are going to turn this review in. If you have any questions about it, I know I ran through it really quick. I went through and I used some shortcuts. But if you have any questions, just message me. Tomorrow is your test. Make sure you have done this review, looked at this review, watched my notes before you take the test tomorrow. All right, have a good day.